Hello, everyone. It's me, Lydia, and I am super excited for this interview today. As you may know, we are interviewing, our team over at Ugly Mug is interviewing a lot of the team members of CLEDA, the Central Louisiana Economic Development Alliance. And today I am joined with Mr. Wayne Denley. Super excited for our chat we have. He has some super cool information for all of you guys. So Mr. Denley is the Senior Advisor for Business and Higher Education Partnerships. I had to look over here at my notes to make sure I didn't mess that up. But he has some super important practical information for employers, employees, people in the education sector. So we're just kind of going to jump right in. I have some questions prepared for him. So first, Mr. Denley, will you please just give us a little bit of a background on what your role is at CLEDA, maybe what that looked like before COVID-19 and what that's kind of shifted and looked like since all of this has started?
Sure. Well, first of all, education, and in particular, an appropriate, well-educated workforce, are at the heart of all successful economic development activity. CLEDA has been innovative in this regard, and several years ago created this position to enhance the connectivity or linkage between our economic driver employers and the education providers that will feed the growth and employment in for those economic drivers. Early on, we recognized that output from our education providers must be of an even higher quality and on target in order for us to compete with other parts of the state, the country, and globally. One of our most glaring areas for improvement is in educational attainment. Our goal for education is to become a leader in educational attainment for the state and for the nation. And in that regard, really, COVID-19 has not changed what we're doing and has not changed our goal. We're still moving in that direction, and how we do it may be altered a little bit. That remains to be seen, but that's our goal, and that's what we intend to continue to do.
Yeah, I got you. I think that's a really important goal, and hopefully people will, as we talk a little more through it, people will understand the importance of that and the importance of that higher education connectivity with the workforce. So kind of shifting gears just a little bit, I know that the governor, recently talked about extending our stay-at-home order until the 15th of May, but I think there's kind of a light at the end of the tunnel to be seen soon. And so I'm sure businesses are kind of gearing up to transition into that season of getting back to work a little more related to the way it looked before all of this happened. So what are some changes that businesses and even educators can expect to make even once they're back at work or back at school? What are some of those things that they can expect?
Well, for businesses and educators, it'll be about people and money. And it's very much a work in progress at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Some things are becoming obvious for many businesses, as you can see from just how we're conducting this interview and how we'll disseminate it to our various constituents. We are all learning to think differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself can be the beginning of innovative processes. Because this situation is extremely fluid, you won't find businesses settling into the processes that are necessary today. They come to work each day to discover new problems and start working on their best solutions for the moment. The execution on those new solutions will present new problems and even new opportunities. So their role has shifted to being very much reactionary. Until the dynamics of their business become more predictable, they will continue in this mode. And they're expecting this to continue for the foreseeable future. Beyond the people issues for businesses are financial considerations. Those are drastically different for each business and will require significant capital to remain viable and productive. Now, the education processes and educators are severely impacted at every level. We will still be on learning about the impact of this crisis on infant learning and pre-K for years, and the options to overcome those issues will develop over time. But the immediate impact is for our K through 12 and college students. The first consideration was to try to keep this school year's learning on track. It remains to be seen how well that has worked, probably not as well as we would have liked, but that too is our next problem to address. We should know soon if our Department of Education and local school districts will handle summer learning as a remedial opportunity. But they are still trying to gear up for distance learning with systems and teachers that were not yet fully equipped. In K through 12, the future for the success of distance learning will depend as much on the students and their parents as it will on the school system and the teachers. Our colleges and universities are further along with distance learning because they started to develop that capacity several years ago. In Central Louisiana, we're talking about Central Louisiana Technical Community College and their 8 campuses throughout the region, Louisiana College in Pineville, Louisiana State University, Alexandria, and Northwestern State University in Natchitoches with branches at England Industrial Air Park and in Leesville. Now, they've been able to maintain some campus presence and have plans in place for graduation this month. Their biggest concern now are budget issues and recruiting for the fall semester. Those 2 areas are very much interdependent. And by the way, for the most part, they plan to have students on campus to some degree in the fall, no matter what, at this point.
Awesome. Yeah. I know that I'm sure school, college and things like that, definitely were affected. I'm in my last semester actually at LSUA, but I'm sure high school probably took a really hard hit because obviously colleges, I think, have more of a knack for that online learning that's kind of already implemented into what we were doing before this all happened. So I think it'll definitely be interesting, to say the least, to see just how high schools, like you said, K through 12, are adjusting once this is over. So why don't you expand a little bit on some new opportunities, right, that employers and employees can expect in the future? Because I think we'll see a lot of new opportunities here soon.
Correct. Well, most of our employers are not open for business today, but many are still operating and still hiring. Many of the manufacturers have openings right now, Royal Martin being a good example. And now some of the building supply outlets are hiring more aggressively. So there are things starting to happen. And part of that's because some people have elected to stay at home. Some people have shifted. And so there are some openings that are occurring. And more importantly, probably there's some new opportunities developing, such as what was announced this last week. 170 contract tracers are needed nationally, and these jobs will be necessary as we're entering the second phase of the pandemic. These workers will be critical to our health and our livelihood as we try to recover. The salary projection for contract tracers that I have seen indicate wages from $17 to $22 per hour, and they can work from home. One of the primary skills required is empathy, which is needed for quickly building strong and trusting relationships over the phone. So as you can see, there are new things happening every day.
Yeah.
And so you have to stay attuned to what is developing as this story unfolds.
Definitely. So again, I think thinking back to what we were talking about earlier, a little bit earlier, talking about the higher education, do you have any advice for these graduating seniors that are entering a workforce that probably will look, or already does look, so much different than what they expected when they entered their last school year?
Sure. Well, this advice has been ageless, but I'll repeat it again. It's probably even more important in today's environment. First, think strategically.
Mm-hmm.
The landscape will look different than what you imagined when you entered this last year of school. So assess the new landscape. Start researching your options and make a list. Prioritize your preferences and rank them according to your career goals. If more training will help you achieve your goals, then work that into your plan. That first job might well be a function of numbers, so plan to apply and interview for a lot of jobs. The applications will be online, and even the interviews probably will be online. So get used to it and get started early.
Yeah, I think that's really good practical advice. Hopefully we'll get to reach some of those people that need to hear it. So I think I really just have one more little topic or question for us to talk about. So Again, people are at home. Many parents are at home with their children. We're kind of wrapping up the school year, but things still might be looking a little different. So how can parents at home with their children make sure that they are still adequately educating their children at home, and then preparing them to be entering this workforce that we've already said is looking so much different?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that question. That's really important. Parents are key to this working out well. Even with the most motivated children, distance learning will have its difficulties, but it can be done and it can be effective. The child will need support. Help them set goals. Help them stay focused. Give them rules to study and learn by, and above all, praise them for their accomplishments each step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And when the teacher reaches out with a phone call or an email, praise them too. Build a personal relationship with those teachers and make them an important part of your family plan for success. You know, making distance learning work will be the responsibility of each and every one of us. That includes students, their parents, and their teachers. Some families and some teachers will master this process. Those that do will be much better prepared to enter the workforce. And teaching the all-important soft skills and behavioral skill development will be even more challenging. As it should, that will fall even more heavily on the parents and the family units.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good charge and challenge to those parents. I'm sure they've already, hopefully, seen that importance played out in these last few weeks that we've all been at home. So thank you so much, though. I loved everything that you mentioned. I hope that everyone got to learn a little something. Like you said, for those people a little bit in the same boat as I am, that are graduating, entering the workforce, I challenge them to, be strategic, be looking for those positions and planning. I think planning is a big thing. So thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Wayne. And I hope that everyone watching got to learn a little bit, and hopefully you learned some stuff from the other videos too of everyone else from CLEDA. So we're going to sign off. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments, and we will get to those very soon. Do you have any closing remarks?
Well, just that this is going to be everyone's responsibility.
Yeah.
We can't depend on government or someone else to help us through this situation. We're all going to have to find our way. And in the end, those who can find ways to be better educated and prepared for what comes next will be the winners.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Awesome. All right. Well, that's all we have today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day. See you later.
Bye.